Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, my name is Precious. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to prepare siblings for a baby. So if you don't know, I'm a mom of 3 kids and I'm currently pregnant with baby number 4, and I think I am in a better position to actually make this video because there are so many things I'm doing with my kids, knowing that number 4 is not a game, like it's not a child's play. It's something that you have to be prepared before you have number 4. So there are things that I have been doing with my kids to get them ready, to prepare them for their sibling, brother or sister coming on the way. And I thought I share with you because I know there are so many women who are watching me as well who are pregnant, but they already have kids. So they may want to watch and they might get one or two things out of this video. But before that, I'm going to be giving a shout out. I'm going to be giving a shout out to 3 amazing people who have left a comment on the comment section of my video. The first shout out goes to Zandali Muhammad. The second shout out goes to Ruby Odaise, and the third shout out goes to Happiness Ife Dolapo. Thank you so much for your amazing comment. If you want a shout out on my videos, please leave a comment on the comment section of this video and I'm going to be giving you a shout out. For everyone who has commented as well, thank you so much for your comment. Please, if you're not following me on Facebook and Instagram, you're going to be missing a lot because I post pictures of daily things that happens in my life. So I know that you guys like me to make vlogs a lot, right? So I do like little vlogs on my story. So you may want to go and glue to me on Instagram because I'm always making tiny vlogs. So thank you so much. So without further ado, let's get talking. So what are the things that you can actually do to prepare your kids? So I've got a 10-year-old, well, it's going to be 10 next month. I've got an 8-year-old and I've got a 5-year-old, and I'm currently pregnant. Do I need to get them ready? Do I need to prepare them? Yes, it is very, very important that you get your kids on board with what is going on, especially when you're having another child. Because if you don't get them ready, things might happen. Things might happen positively and things might happen negatively. But because we are intentional with this pregnancy, because we know what we want from the beginning, we are proactive. We don't want to be reactive, but we want to be proactive, right? We want to prepare them. So every point that I'm going to be giving, I may be showing tiny clips of what I've been doing just to let you know, or just to show you the things I've been doing. The ones I don't show any clip might be the ones that I don't have any clip for, but anyone that I have clips for, I'm going to be showing. So there will be tiny vlogs in this video, okay? So how can you get your kids ready? The first thing you want to do is to start early. How do you start early? So for us, before we even got pregnant, we started telling the kids that we're going to start trying for another baby. So the kids already knew from day one that we were going to have another child. We talked to them, we spoke to them, we explained everything to them, and we told them that, look, this is what we want for our family. We want a boy or a girl, or maybe whatever God decides for us. And they were all excited. I personally asked them if they wanted another child, and thankfully all of them agreed. Well, thankfully, whether they agree or they not agree, I'm having another child anyway, but thankfully they all agreed that they wanted a sibling. So I started early, before conception, before we started trying. We told them we are having another. So if you have kids, no matter how small they are, there are so many ways you can explain to children based on their understanding, and they will know what is going on. So explain to your child, explain to your children that you want to start trying for another child. And I tell you what, they will definitely understand. Another thing that you can do in terms of getting your kids ready is tell them when you're pregnant. So when I got pregnant, or when I found out I was pregnant, I told my kids. I'm going to be finding a video of when I told my kids. I think this is the best place to actually show you guys. Chidega, yeah, what am I should read this out loud? Just wait, read it out loud.
You are going to be a big brother and sister. Mommy is having a baby. Yeah, you told me that before.
What do you think?
am happy.
Are you? What do you think, Chilga? So I told my kids that I'm pregnant, and that's like from the day I found out I was pregnant, I told them. So if you're pregnant, some people don't tell their children that they are pregnant until maybe after 3 months. And I can understand why they don't tell their children. Maybe if anything happens, they don't have to be like explaining, okay, baby, we lost your baby brother or we lost your baby sister or something. They don't want to explain all of that to a child that probably will not understand. So I can understand why some people don't tell their children, but we chose to tell our kids from the first time or from the first day we found out that we were having a baby. So you may want to tell your children depending on when it's comfortable for you to tell your kids. Another thing as well is not just telling them, you carry them along. Thankfully, my kids, by the grace of God, they've gotten to the age where they understand stuff. So through my first trimester, when things were a lot difficult for me in terms of pregnancy related sickness, they knew what was going on. So if for example I am on the bed lying down, maybe even if I'm not sleeping and they can see that I'm lying down on the bed, they don't disturb me. Whatever they want, they either go tell their daddy or they do it by themselves. So because they understand what is going on with me, because they understand that mommy is not feeling too well, and they know it's because mommy is having a baby, there's a baby, a tiny baby growing in mommy's tummy, and they know that the first 3 months is actually the time where things can get either good or either bad. So they understand that process. So if you have not seen my video, I've actually made video with my daughter and my son where we talked about pregnancy. So you may want to watch that video because the videos are very insightful. They would actually tell you how much the kids know about me being pregnant. So it won't be as if I'm just talking. You'll be able to understand that we've actually been doing the work. Carry them along through the pregnancy. So another thing that I do in terms of carrying my kids along, which I might be showing you a video, is my kids are already rubbing my tummy. So they take turns in terms of moisturizing my tummy every night. My kids take turns to moisturize my tummy. I'm going to be showing you pictures or videos of them moisturizing my tummy so that you will know that I'm carrying them along. You understand what I'm talking about? Another thing I do in terms of carrying my kids along is that the app that I use on my phone for my pregnancy, that's Baby Center app. I always show them video because they do send those videos of what is going on with the baby or how the baby is growing and all of that. So they have up-to-date knowledge of what is going on in me, as in what is going on with their baby brother or their baby sister. They always watch that video. One of the things that I said to myself is that, you know what, I'm going to get pregnant with number 4 and my youngest is 5. I'm going to use this opportunity to teach my kids what pregnancy is all about. It's an intentional thing for me. Everybody is different. Everybody does things differently. But I made up my mind from the beginning that every one of them would know what pregnancy is all about, will understand the process, the everything in terms of pregnancy. And by the time they grew up, they would have at least an idea of what pregnancy is all about, not from reading books, but from experiencing it themselves from their mother. So I carry my kids along in these ways and many other ways, which I do try my best to carry them along. So if you have younger kids, don't leave them to the side. Don't just abandon them as if, carry them along. You may be surprised how they understand things. You think they don't understand, but they actually do. My kids understand a lot of things. So you may want to carry them along in ways that you would want, not just the ways I've told you. You may come up with your own ways of carrying your kids along. So another thing as well that I try to do, or that you may want to do, is to balance the process. Let it not be all about pregnancy in the house, right? There are times that we talk about, oh, baby, your baby brother, your baby sister. And there are times that we don't talk about baby brother, baby sister at all. We just concentrate on them, okay? Because if every time I'm talking about, oh, your brother is this, or your sister is this, or the baby is doing this, or the baby is doing that, they get to a point where they're like, is the only baby that we have in this house? They start becoming jealous. And sometimes we parents start cause these things. We parents cause it unintentionally. We don't intentionally do it. So you may want to balance the process. Be mindful of how you do things in the house so that it will be balanced. You're carrying your children along, you're talking about baby, you're also talking about them as well. So the house will not just be about pregnancy, right? So that's one thing that you may want to do if you have kids and you're pregnant or you're thinking of getting pregnant. So another thing as well that you may want to do is to make them feel special, like as in parallel. So as much as baby is special, not as much as, oh, you can't hit mommy's tummy, or you can't jump on the bed when mommy is lying on the bed, or you can't do this or you can't do that. You want to balance it, just like I say, you want to make them feel special, parallel, like in parallel. As much as baby is like this, you make them feel special as well. Balance it. Make them feel good about themselves. Talk about good things that they've done. Talk about protecting them. Talk about looking after themselves. Talk about other things that will make them feel special. So, for example, you say, oh, if you shout, baby is going to jump or baby is going to kick mommy's tummy. You don't want to shout because it may also affect you as well, because if you scream, you may have headache. So that's a typical example. You said something about the baby and you've said something about them. Balancing things and making them feel special in parallel. So another thing as well that I do, or which I think you may want to do, is to set special time to spend with your children, especially now. I tell you what, by the time the baby comes, you may not have time with these kids. You may not be able to spend time with these kids. So one of the things you may want to think about is Friday night. You may say, okay, movie night on Friday night, or you may say take out on Friday, or you may say take out on weekend, just something that they love. Or you can also ask them what they want, right? The children, do you know, these children have so many ideas that we don't even know they have. Sometimes we're thinking about, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Just save yourself that headache of thinking. Ask your children. You'll be surprised the suggestions they are going to make in terms of spending time with them. One of the things that I do is Fridays, we have movie nights, and most of the time we watch Nigerian movie, because I like to watch Nigerian movie, teach my children about our culture and our tradition. So we like to watch Nigerian movie in our house, and that's the time they also have to ask me questions about the native doctor or the outfit or why somebody is behaving like this and all of that, and some languages as well. So that's the time we spend to answer questions, and it's just bonding time. So spend more time with your children now that the baby is in your tummy. Because when the baby comes, you may not have that time as much to spend with them, because baby takes almost 80% of your time. So another thing you may want to think about in terms of preparing your children is prepare them for your stay in hospital. I think this is something that most people may not even think about, especially now during the pandemic, where you're going to hospital, you're not even allowed, the children are not even allowed to visit when the baby comes. Everyone is praying for a safe delivery. Everyone is praying that God help us to deliver like the Hebrew women. But we also need to prepare for the uncertainty. What if you end up having a cesarean section where you don't have to come back home immediately? What if things don't go as planned, where you don't have to come back home immediately, you have to stay in hospital? You want to prepare your children for your stay in hospital. You want to let them know that mommy is going to be going to the hospital to have a baby, to have your baby brother or your baby sister. Mommy may not come back that same day. Mommy may stay in hospital to be looked after, or for the baby to be looked after before they come back. So get your kids ready, get your kids prepared, so that they will not start asking, where is mommy? Oh, where is daddy? By the time they don't see you, everyone starts crying. And before you know, your poor husband will not know what to do. And it just becomes a whole lot of confusion. Or even if your poor husband is even there, think about if you're going to be dropping them off somewhere and in their head, they're not going to be sleeping off. Or your children are not the type that sleep over in other people's house. You want to prepare them now, because what if they have to sleep over in somebody's house while you're in hospital and your husband maybe is in hospital with you? So there's a lot of things one needs to prepare. You need to prepare your kids, or we need to prepare our kids in terms of having a brother or a sister. And I think this is very, very important. Everyone who is pregnant and you have kids, you want to think about this point because it's super, super important. Another thing as well is to teach your kids how to be independent. Thankfully, my kids are in that age where they can do a lot of things by themselves. If you haven't seen that video again that I made with my kids where we talked about pregnancy, I'm going to be linking it as well on the description section of this video. You may want to go and watch that video because my daughter just said she literally does everything in the house. Mommy doesn't do anything. But anyway, that's just to tell you that I'm beginning to teach them to do things for themselves, to do things by themselves, so that by the time the baby comes, I'm not going to be doing the things that I'm looking after baby, I'm looking after them, especially the things that I know they can do for themselves. For example, going to brush their teeth, having a shower. I can't be going to bathe baby and also thinking about bathing 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. No, I can't do that. Or even making breakfast for them when they can make breakfast for themselves, or even doing their laundry. No, I'm trying my best to teach them the things they can do, age appropriate. Please don't abuse your children. Don't give them all the chores in the house that you know that they can't do and you allow them to do that. That's not what I'm saying. Give them age appropriate chores to do, so that by the time your baby comes, they can at least do those chores that they can do. Then you can do the chores that they cannot do. Just like I always say, do what you can do and let God do for you what you cannot do. So start teaching your children independence based on their abilities. Another thing as well is you may want to get your kids involved. So this is when the baby comes. By the grace of God, you're pregnant, you're going to have your baby. By the grace of God, your baby is going to be fine. You are going to be fine. By the time you get back home, you want to get your children involved in terms of looking after the kids. For example, Mark, can you give me the nappy? Can you give me the wipes? Can you do this for me? Can you get babies clothes? Can you get babies onesie? Can you do this? So get them involved in terms of looking after the baby. So if, for example, they know that when the baby is sick, they need to wipe the baby off, they immediately, whenever they see the baby is sick, they will say, oh, mommy, the baby is sick. Can you wipe the baby? So they understand what is going on and how to look after newborn as well. So another thing as well is to teach them how to carry the baby when the baby comes. Yes, it's very important. When my friend had a baby and she brought the baby to the house some time ago, the way I saw my son, the eldest one, carrying that baby, honestly, I was so proud. I was so happy. I couldn't believe that he could hold a newborn baby. He was just looking at the baby, so cute, and it was like, I could just imagine what was going on in his head. So teach your kids how to hold your baby. There are some things some people do where when they have a baby, they don't want their children to touch the baby. They don't want their children to go close to the baby because they feel the children might accidentally harm the baby. That's true. But if you teach your child from day one, they would not want to hurt the baby. They would not intentionally want to hurt the baby. So teach them how to carry, teach them how to hold the baby. It might just be a time where they bond as well. So another thing as well is to mind what you say. Watch your words, right? If anything goes wrong with the baby, or if the baby cries, or the baby screams, or something happened, and the other siblings are there, don't just blame them for everything, right? Because we need to be very, very careful with these points. Because what happens is when your baby is let's say, for example, your baby is on the bed sleeping or on the cot sleeping, and your other siblings or your other kids are there, and all of a sudden the baby wakes up, you start shouting, why did you wake the baby up? What did you do to the baby? Literally blaming everything on your kids. You want to be very careful with that. Let it not be that when things are bad, the kids are to be blamed. When something don't go right, you blame the kids. When something don't go right, you blame the kids. So I think I'm just going to stop here. But these are the things that you can do to get your kids ready, or to get them prepared for a newborn baby. Is there anything that I have listed that you think makes so much sense? Please let me know in the comment section. Or is there anything that I have not listed out that you think that might actually help in getting your kids ready, or older kids ready for a baby? Let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video and you think the video made so much sense to you and you haven't subscribed, please press the subscribe button and the notification bell, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for watching. Be grateful, be positive, and be yourself. See you on my next video.